Her name meant Birdwoman, and she was soaring America to even greater heights and expanding it through the Louisiana Purchase, where 530 million acres of new land was acquired. Sacagawea was a native woman who was essential to the Lewis and Clark expedition. Sacagawea.
The story behind the Birdwoman.
Before current-day America came to be, there was only a newly created country, which had only 13 states. But this changed when Thomas Jefferson purchased land from France, doubling its size. This was known as the Louisiana Purchase. Jefferson then hired Meriwether Lewis and William Clark to captain an expedition to explore the new lands, with the help of a teenage indigenous woman named Sacagawea. From 1803 to 1806, Sacagawea helped gather food, instigate peace, and trade with native people. She navigated the people of the expedition from St. Louis, Missouri to the Pacific and back, all while her baby called Pomp was on her back. She took ethical responsibility because of her experiences as a native and followed her civic rights to ensure the success of the expedition, even if no recognition was granted. And the West, which was mostly unknown, was discovered.
Before the Lewis and Clark Corps of Discovery, a deal was made by new President Thomas Jefferson and King Louis of France that changed it all. At this time, the United States had only colonized along the East Coast, but this agreement gave the states 350 million acres of land to expand westward into new territories. This agreement led to the treaty between France and the United States, also helping with the state's development later. The final document transferring these lands was signed in Paris on April 30th, 1803. This treaty officially ended the Revolutionary War, recognizing each colony as a part of British America and freeing the colonies, as well as beginning the USA. Around the time of the purchase, a Shoshone girl, who happened to be the chief's daughter, was taken captive by her enemy tribe, the Hidatsa, governed by Chief Fordens. This captive was called Sacagawea, also known as Birdwoman. Sacagawea was traded and married to French fur trapper Toussaint Charbonneau. Sacagawea was almost 6 months pregnant with his son when she was recruited to join the Lewis and Clark expedition. Sacagawea, her husband, and other members of the expedition traveled to Camp Du Bois to prepare for the expedition. And that's where her son, Jean-Baptiste Charbonneau, who was called Pomp, was born. In this time, tensions between the native people and the colonials were high, as power changed from the peaceful French to the unknown colonists.
Sacagawea proved to be very helpful on the trip, using her knowledge of the land to make new scientific discoveries and scrounge for berries. She also helped talk and trade with other natives, and her, as well as Pomp's presence, reassured many other natives that they passed by. Many challenges proved difficult over the expedition, but through them, Sacagawea was always calm and helping. This picture shows Sacagawea carrying a large load on her back, dressed in light clothes, even though it was cold out. It shows the significance of the discrimination, because even as she helped the expedition, many times she was passed over. In many of Lewis's journals, his editor downplayed Sacagawea, half dismissing her and leaving her out of important parts of the adventure, many times to upscale Lewis and Clark. One of the events he left out was that Sacagawea was voted into the expedition, which was anything but unimportant to the women suffragists in the future. On many occasions, though, Sacagawea and Pomp's presence came in handy, even if it wasn't wanted. One of them being when they would go through Native American villages. The Native Americans took them being there as a sign that this was a peaceful group. On May 16, 1805, a ship the group was on had an accident. Many supplies started to fall off again, but Sacagawea stayed calm and saved many of the bigger items, while other crew went for the lighter way. Overall, Sacagawea had many important roles in the expedition, and even afterward. After the expedition for the United States, she still trusted the U.S. and helped move native groups to the reserved areas. Sacagawea was very important to the U.S. and was put on a coin to honor her significant contributions to the success of the Lewis and Clark expedition as a guide and interpreter.
Directly after this expedition, it had great effects on the new country of the United States. This was the turning point for exploration of the West. Their journey inspired others to continue their research westward, leading to its development later. In this time, they were in unfamiliar territories that were marked as dangerous just because they were unknown. But when this expedition returned, it gave them knowledge of the land and its inhabitants. The members of the journey created drawings, maps, and journals full of information which spread, leading to even more expeditions and discoveries. This was not at the end of their effects, however. They made peace with native tribes, showing they meant no harm, which kept the balance, ensuring no bloodshed, even if only for a short while. All of which could not have been done without Sacagawea leading the way. Staying silent. After the expedition, Sacagawea got no direct credit for her efforts, but only as a small member of the expedition. However, this changed years later when researchers learned about her important contributions towards the Corps of Discovery. Her story had a rippling effect through the much later years, even still affecting today. Her inspirational story was used by Susan B. Anthony to show an example of what the country would gain if women had more rights. Also as an example of one of the first women who had real impact in her time. Susan even referred to Sacagawea's bronze statue when she was awarded a standing ovation in 1905. Her legacy as a native also had a meaningful impression, with her breaking barriers of native people being emotionless and cold. Also, in later years, she helped the Shoshone people earn land and some, even though little, rights. An article called Sacagawea Suffrage Manifest Destiny said, Sacagawea demonstrates both the argument the movement made for advancing women's political rights and its failure to consider women of color equal deserving to those rights. People today are still motivated and inspired by her bravery, sacrifice, and knowledge. This can continue, and who knows what it will lead to later in time.
Sacagawea helped expand the newly created country, taking leadership over parts of the expedition and ultimately creating a turning point for the growth of the U.S. and the increase of inclusion for women and natives. Her and the effects of her stories continue to change the world. Her strength and courage reminds us that history is shaped by the actions of individuals, even those who may be overlooked. Sacagawea's story is a testament to her bravery, intelligence, and resilience. She represents the strength of an American woman, the importance of cultural exchange, and the enduring legacy of those who played critical yet unrecognized roles in history. She's a symbol of peace and inspiration that will travel through the ages.
Thank you for watching Sacagawea, the story behind the Birdwoman.